They started pounding on my front door before sunrise. Yesterday, my biggest problem was whether my rent check would clear before my overdraft fees hit. I'm 32, single, working the night shift at a grocery store just outside Columbus. My diet's trash. My right knee still clicks from a high school basketball injury, and my mom calls every Sunday to ask if I've met someone yet. That was life. Tired, broke, predictable. Now my hallway smells like a butcher's dumpster, and something keeps scraping down the length of my door, slow and deliberate, like it's testing the wood. It started with news alerts on my phone around 2 a.m., something about violent riots on the east side. I ignored them at first. The cops and fire department always seem to have their hands full in that part of town. But then the grocery store intercom buzzed, and Earl from Produce yelled for me to get to the back. He never yells. We pulled the metal gate down just as some guy in a shredded hoodie sprinted into the glass doors, face first, leaving a smear that looked too dark to be blood. I made it home before things got ugly. The streets were empty except for a hunched figure chewing on something I didn't want to look at too closely. I locked my door, triple-checked it, tried to breathe. The pounding started 20 minutes later. It's not just fists. There's a wet, meaty sound between the thuds, and under it, a low rattling in their throats, like someone trying to clear a blocked airway but never stopping. I keep thinking of my dad's old smoker's cough, except heavier, wetter. I can't see them through the peephole, they're standing too close. But once, when the pounding stopped, I caught the edge of a face in the narrow glass by the hinge. The jaw didn't move right. It was hanging, twitching in little jerks while the head stayed perfectly still. There's no way they'll give up. And I just realized my back door's only got one lock, and it's the cheap kind I never replaced. I grabbed the only weapon I had, my dad's old aluminum bat, still dented from when I used it to smack icicles off the gutters last winter. My hands were slick with sweat, and I kept wiping them on my pajama pants, which only made the bat harder to grip. The pounding on the front door stopped. Too sudden. The air felt like it was holding its breath. Then, 3 light taps on the back door. My chest tightened. That lock had a wiggle to it if you pulled hard enough, something I'd meant to fix. I stepped into the kitchen, slow, bare feet sticking slightly to the tile from a spill I hadn't mopped up yesterday. My fridge hummed like it didn't know the world was ending. Through the window over the sink, I saw a shape in the dark, not pressed up close like the front door. This one stood just far enough back to let the light from the street lamp smear across its face. I wish it had stayed in shadow. The mouth was open too wide, teeth sunk into its own lower lip, gnawing. No blinking, no shift of weight, just chewing itself. The tapping started again, not random. 3 taps, pause, 3 taps, pause. My brain grabbed at the pattern like it might mean something, Morse code maybe. But the pauses were off, uneven, almost like it was listening for my reaction. The bat felt too light in my hands. I backed away, trying to remember if the sliding glass door in the living room still had that stick in the track to keep it from opening. That's when I heard it. From the front door, that rattling throat noise again, only louder, and this time, something else joined in from the side of the house. A third voice. They were surrounding me. I could run upstairs, but the only exit there was the window over the driveway. A 12-foot drop onto cracked asphalt with my knee. Might as well hand myself over. Then the back door's lock clicked once. Just once. Like someone testing it. The click jolted through me like an electric shock. I tightened my grip on the bat and inched toward the back door, trying to keep my breathing shallow so I could hear over the thudding in my chest. Another click, softer this time, followed by a long scrape against the metal frame. My stomach turned. Someone was dragging something sharp along the lock. I pictured a kitchen knife, but the sound had a grit to it, like bone. I crouched, hoping to see through the lower corner of the glass without giving myself away. The figure was closer now, head tilted, eyes locked on the handle. Its hand twitched in tiny, repetitive jerks, each one making the latch tremble. From the front of the house, a new noise joined the others, a slow, dragging shuffle across the porch. Then, a heavy thud against the siding, right below the living room window. I froze, listening. No follow-up knock, just a single, deliberate hit. I backed into the hallway, bat ready, trying to keep all exits in sight. My phone was on the counter, but every instinct screamed that reaching for it would cost me. Instead, I looked at the coat closet. Inside was the old crowbar I'd stolen from my uncle's garage years ago and never returned. He always said it was good for when a locked door needs to stop being locked. Another scrape at the back, a muffled rattle at the front, and then a faint metallic clink from the basement. I live alone. No one should be in the basement. I don't remember deciding to move, but my feet were already carrying me toward the basement door. Every step felt louder than the last, like the floorboards wanted to tell whoever was down there that I was coming. The clink came again, metal on metal, followed by a slow creak, as if something heavy shifted on the concrete floor. My basement is unfinished, just a few shelves, an old dryer, and the breaker box. No reason for anyone to be there. I eased the door open. The smell hit first, damp earth mixed with that same coppery rot seeping in from outside. The air was cooler but heavy, like breathing through a wet rag. Halfway down the steps, I stopped. There was a shadow just past the landing, not moving, not even swaying. My eyes strained in the dim light until I saw it. An arm, pale and bare, sticking out from behind the support beam. The fingers were curled tight around something metal. Another scrape at the back door made me flinch. When I looked again, the arm was gone. The sound of bare feet slapping against concrete started in the far corner. Slow at first, then faster. They weren't running at me. They were running toward the stairs leading up into the kitchen. I spun and took the steps two at a time, slamming the door shut just as something heavy hit it from the other side. The whole frame shook. From the porch, the dragging shuffle started again, and from the back door, the lock turned halfway, then stopped, as if whoever was there wanted me to hear it. The kitchen felt smaller with every sound pressing in from all sides. My bat was still in my right hand, the weight familiar now, but my left hand hovered over the crowbar in the closet. If the door gave, I'd need both. A soft creak came from above me, not the floor settling. This was slower, deliberate. Someone was in the attic. My mind tripped over itself, trying to map the threats. Front porch, back door, basement, and now above. I'd never even bothered to lock the attic hatch. It was just a square panel in the hallway ceiling with a pull cord. No one ever used it but me, and only to stash Christmas decorations. The sound of the cord brushing against the hatch reached me, an almost silky whisper. Then, a faint tap, tap, tap on the wood. It was the same three-tap rhythm from the back door earlier. I backed toward the living room, keeping my eyes on the hallway ceiling. The porch boards groaned as if someone shifted their weight outside, and from the basement, a slow scrape dragged upward along the other side of the door like nails or bone against wood. My phone buzzed on the counter. I lunged for it, heart pounding, and saw the notification, emergency alert, shelter in place. The screen flickered once, then went black. No amount of button pressing brought it back. From the attic, the hatch shifted in its frame. Dust sifted down into the hallway, drifting toward me. The dust floated in slow spirals, catching the dim light from the kitchen. I tightened my grip on the bat and stepped backward until my heel touched the sliding glass door. A cold draft leaked in around its frame. The attic hatch shuddered again, this time with more force, and a long, wet breath escaped from the gap. It wasn't a hiss. It was the sound you make when your lungs are full of fluid, each inhale dragging something thicker than air. From the basement, the pounding started. Fast, frantic, like the thing down there had decided it didn't need to be quiet anymore. The porch followed with its own barrage. The walls seemed to pulse with the impacts. The hatch gave way with a groan. A hand, gray and mottled, slid out, fingers flexing against the air like they were searching for something to grab. My legs moved before I had a plan. I yanked the crowbar from the closet, jammed it under the sliding glass door's security stick, and shoved the glass open just far enough to slip through. The night air slapped me in the face. The street was empty, but every window on the block had shapes behind it, still, watching. No movement except the faint tilt of heads as I bolted across the yard. Behind me, my front door crashed open. I didn't look back. If you made it this far, you're one of us now. Don't just watch, stay prepared. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who still thinks the outbreak's just a rumor. Trust me, they need to hear it before it's too late.